3, 2, 1. Boosh.
Wow.
Oh my God, that's cold. Welcome back to You Betcha Radio podcast. We are back in the studio for only part of this podcast. This is the coldest podcast in all the Midwest. I'm here with Ryan, the T-shirt guy. I am Miles, the You Betcha guy. We have a phenomenal show lined up for you. We're going to talk about the first bar takeover. We're going to talk about finally making it to St. Louis. Well, I am. Ryan's not. I left him behind. And all things Busch Latte. So let's just get into the show.
I would venture to say it's almost the nectar of the gods. Back, baby, back. I want my Busch. Oh my God, that's cold.
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, welcome back to episode 18 of the You Betcha Radio podcast. We had a lot of fun at our first live podcast, the first bar takeover, episode 17. But if you haven't heard yet, we have some pretty exciting news for episode 18. And as I'm saying this, Miles, the You Betcha guy, he's going on a little vacation, but we'll talk about that a little bit later in the podcast. But first, we got to
quit teasing the people, Ryan.
You got to, man. You got to. We got to do a little house cleaning beforehand. Again, guys, go follow us at OUBetcha. That's at OHH You Betcha. The content this next week is going to be crazy because of Miles' little vacation. Again, we'll get into that a little bit later. As you're listening to this, the new merch, which we're both rocking, we got hats, we got shirts. That dropped already. So go check it out, I almost said at OUBetcha. I'm so used to the social media plugs. OUBetcha.com.
www.worldwideweb.com. So you need to put more emphasis on the fact that we have hats now, guys.
Oh, I was getting there. This is a game changer right now.
Yeah, like we wear hats every day. All of the clientele wears hats every day. We've been asked about it about like 150 times. We wanted to do it. We just had to find the right person to print them, the right person to embroider them. So we did it. We have them.
And I was not that guy.
Yeah, he's not Ryan the embroidery guy.
I'm not Ryan the embroidery guy. I'm just the T-shirt guy. So as you can see, if you're watching the YouTube video, you see the design. It's the biggest nectar we have done to this date.
The nectar word is pretty big on there. I like it.
But if you're not watching the YouTube video or the YouTube podcast, just bring us through a quick audio visual.
It's just got big, bold nectar letters up top, followed by of the gods with 3 things of barley bursting out of the word gods into the nectar.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like it. I think it's nice and bold, straight to the point, with a little Midwest flair of the barley, and then obviously our Nectar of the Gods hats. Yes. So those are like our Nectar of the Gods original barley one that looks like the Busch Latte logo, but just says Nectar of the Gods. I think they look fantastic.
They look pretty awesome. I was checking myself out in the mirror a little bit, just seeing how the merch looked. I can get a good feel for it if it looks good on an actual body. I think it's going to go well. But this
and you got a weird shaped head, so if it works on your weird.
Yeah, so this baby blue T-shirt with the light grayish hat with a black back, a black mesh back with a snap back. That it's a fire combo.
Yep. Oh yeah, I got the navy with the white. Those are the 2 that are available on the website. So, along with all of the other merch before.
Yes, you stole my thunder. We're opening up every other design that we've ever came out with.
Except for the crew necks.
Except for the crew necks. Every design in T-shirts, because that's who I am. I'm Ryan, the T-shirt guy. So we really try and stay to who we are. But go check it out, guys. OUBetcha.com. All the merch is on there. Do we want to talk a little bit about what else is on the website for sale? We got a couple new products that are.
Yeah, so we'll get further into this later in the podcast. But we have Nectar of the Gods signs by Gina's Designs of the Heartland, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yep.
You Betty stickers are back in stock. And then we also have some YB bev buckles. So it's a belt buckle with our YB logo on it, with the flip down tray, basically to hold your drink.
Yep.
Oh, Bush burp. You know, they were a sponsor on the first 12 to 15 episodes or whatever on the podcast. We decided to do our own bev buckles with them. I think they turned out phenomenal. So if you're looking for something that's going to be perfect when the 4th of July rolls around or when these country music festivals rolls around.
Oh, yeah.
And you slap on a bev buckle and your hands free while you're still drinking at one of these festivals or the 4th of July, there's going to be a lot of your friends are going to be pretty jealous of that thing. So those are the stuff we got going on the website other than just T-shirts. So it's going to be pretty good. I'm excited. I think that this is like our most like tightened up best launch ever. Our last one was like kind of up in the air a little bit just because we didn't know what we were doing with sweatshirts. Now we got that under our belt, but now it's just like back to the bread and butter with a little extra flair on the side. So I'm pretty excited about that. Speaking of flair on the side, Ryan, U Motors hooked us up with a trailer, and we put a little flair on the side, their logo, and my face on the back.
Yep.
The bar takeover trailer. Guys, U Motors, Motorsports and Marine, located in Fargo, North Dakota, and Pelican Lake, Minnesota, has all of the best brands: Honda, Yamaha, Ski-Doo, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, Natique boats, Super boats, Supreme boats. Ryan?
All the boats.
All of the boats, and even pontoons, Avalon pontoons to be specific. If you mention this ad, you can get 20% off parts and accessories. Some exclusions may apply. And you can check them out on Facebook, Instagram, also on their website at umotorsinc.com. Again, umotorsinc.com. And our second bar takeover, Ryan, is happening at Country View Acres in Iowa, Joyce, Iowa, which is right on the border of Minnesota and Iowa. It is our first bar takeover in Iowa. They're a wedding venue, but they're also a bar, and so they're the perfect place to either have a wedding or any other event. They're basically just a cool event center.
Or a bar takeover.
I saw a photo of someone who had a wedding there, and there was a room stacked to the brim of Busch lattes.
I saw that.
So you know that
great.
we're entering Busch Latte country when we do this. Country View Acres is a great place for Sunday Fun Day. They have their bar open from noon to 8. There's a big patio out back overlooking the pond. If you're looking for a big space to get married or have any sort of event that's also peacefully secluded, Country View Acres is your best bet. Located 5 minutes from the Diamond Joe Casino.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. You might lose me at the bar takeover.
Yeah, Ryan's going to disappear at the bar takeover to the Diamond Joe. But they're conveniently located close to that. They're all-in-one wedding venue and event center. You can get married, get ready, have your reception all in one spot. A lot of nature, but also has the modern conveniences when the Midwest weather doesn't cooperate. That sounds like a very smart idea, considering it is up in the air. So join us on May 18th in Joyce, Iowa, Country View Acres. Or if you want to get married in a place that loves Busch lattes in God's country, you're going to have to check out Country View Acres. So, Ryan, how did our first bar takeover go?
Whew. I've been waiting for this one for a while. Where do we even want to start is the question. Let's just start so I think we talked about it a little bit at one point, but this was a 6.5 hour trip that eventually turned into about 9 to 9.5 hours.
Yeah, on your shoulders, though.
Yeah, of course I had to stop and get some new sticks going through the Minneapolis area. It had to happen. It was too convenient. So we rolled up into Wisconsin about 9:30, and it was interesting.
I wanted to go out for some drinks, and nothing was open.
Everything was closed down. I thought the Dells would have been a little... Well, we obviously didn't go to the Showboat Saloon.
Yeah, we weren't trying to go show up downtown yet. We were kind of like, let's just wet our whistle a little bit here, somewhere close to the hotel. We found a place, but they closed at midnight, so we had to pack her in early.
Which I think was okay. I think that was a pretty
Yeah.
smart move on our part, because if we would have
But if it had been up to me, we would have went for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
We would have got our Wisconsin experience in for
you're,
sure.
You're welcome for. You should be thanking the bar.
Absolutely.
For closing at midnight, because otherwise we'd have been out pretty late. But no, I think it went as good as your first bar takeover could go.
I think it went too well. The Showboat Saloon set the bar pretty high. You know, we walked in and there was a full podcasting stage with bushels of Busch Light just stacked up.
Yeah, and
as kind of like a
they
prop.
took care of all of our needs and fed us good and made sure that we had our ranch when we needed it and our cheese curds when we needed it.
Oh my God, those cheese curds.
Yeah, it was just a combination of a bunch of that stuff. But, yeah, I think we should set up earlier.
Yeah.
We didn't get there early enough to set up.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of my first takeaway from it. The second one is we need to figure out how to. We did not anticipate how loud it was going to be in there.
No.
For whatever reason, when we were setting this up, when we were planning this, we just didn't take into account of how noisy it was going to be at this bar. We also didn't know there was going to be a live band going at the same time, I guess. So what we want to do is be able to hook up our mics to not only record for the podcast, but also play it live for the people that are there. And so I think that that's something that we are looking to try and do. I got to make some phone calls, figure out how to get that done. But I think that's like the one thing we probably messed up on, the biggest one that we messed up on.
Yeah, and I think
we also didn't bring enough merch.
No. So I was going to talk about that. So the one takeaway I had from the first bar takeover was we got to bring more merch.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a very limited amount of sizes that we brought with, and people were buying sizes that they don't even wear. So that just kind of goes to show that we're going to be well prepared for Joyce, Iowa. We might set up a table. We might not. I might just start slinging them off my back.
I think we should set up a table.
Okay.
I think we should. It'll make it feel more like, and people will recognize it, right? It'll be
right.
oh, this is where I can buy some shirts.
Speaking of shirts, I think I'm going to get into the coolest moment of the bar takeover for me. You might know where I'm going with this, but we had sold through all the shirts. We didn't bring any crew necks with. People were loving the crew necks, which we might bring those to the next one. But I sold the crew neck that I was wearing straight off my back.
Yep. Game worn jersey, just right off his back.
Yep. People were paying top dollar for this stuff too. It's like, I had no other choice but to take my sweatshirt off and give it to this guy because he wanted it that bad.
And
he wore it the rest of the night.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, me being the t-shirt guy, I can just print up a new one and
not to brag,
charge it to the account. No big deal.
Yeah, relax, Ryan.
But that was probably the coolest moment for the bar takeover.
You know what was the worst moment?
What's that?
When you sat on the Busch hat. So you guys have seen heard the Busch cowboy hat that we got at an event. Ryan, while he was on Facebook Live, he just sat on it and crushed the top of it.
Yeah, it got ripped. It got pretty tattered, but it's still game ready.
Yeah, I mean, we're still going to keep wearing it. It's not... We call it character. As much as I don't want to give you that satisfaction, it makes it a little bit better. But your fat ass sat on it live on Facebook.
All 175 pounds of me.
We did have a very intoxicated human offer us $500 for it.
And that was after I sat on it.
That was after he sat on it. And so a lot of people would have probably taken that deal.
I would have. I was trying to tell you to take the deal, but we look back on it. And
as a ethical salesman, I cannot rightfully take that much money for this sat-on hat while he is very intoxicated.
Yeah.
I could not do it. Tough to turn down $500. But
it's the cost of doing business.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like I've been offered some ridiculous amount of money for the original You Betty. That's just like a part of what the brand is. So
really? How much?
Quite a bit.
More than the Busch hat?
Yeah, I mean, it was probably like I had someone, I don't know how serious they were, but they were like, dude, if you send that to me, I'll give you like $1,000. And I'm like, oh man.
What?
Yeah, I'm like, well, that defeats the whole purpose of what the You Betty was, is like, You Betty is supposed to be like way cheaper than a Yeti. And then this guy wants to drop $1,000 on a You Betty.
Yeah, but I could also get paid for once. You could use that money to pay me.
Yeah, Ryan, what I'll let you do so you can get paid is you can set up a car wash station outside of the bunker. We'll throw
in Joyce, Iowa.
In Joyce, Iowa. The morning of, you can set up a car wash. If you want to get your car washed, you got to come to Joyce, Iowa, Country View Acres. Ryan will be scrubbing your windshield.
Tarps off, boys.
He's going to be got his fitness body in full-fledged.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe wearing a Speedo. So, ladies, if you're trying to get a nice car wash from a guy in a Speedo, be looking for Ryan, the T-shirt guy, trying to make a buck at Country View Acres. So you'll be Ryan, Ryan, the car wash guy. After
Ryan,
that.
the Speedo guy.
Maybe we got to get you a Speedo with the YB logo right on the crotch.
Sure.
That'd be nice. For when we do our podcasts and stuff on boats here in the summer.
Yep.
But, yeah, the band was great.
They were awesome.
They let me sing a song, super intoxicated.
Yep.
Luckily, so was everyone else, and so it didn't really matter if I was good or not, or if I knew the words, which I did not. I don't know the verses to Friends in Low Places. I found out.
And they didn't. We had songs picked out on the drive there. We're like, if you were to sing one song, what would it be? And we picked them, and like, they wouldn't let you request that. So I was kind of bummed about that. But
yeah, but so that was fun. Ryan had his share of fun.
Oh my gosh, I had so much fun. We got back to the hotel that night, and we kind of just like we were both pretty intoxicated at that point, and took the Uber back and sat in this beautiful hotel room and
the Hairball Hotel.
And we just kind of started BSing about the whole night, and just kind of brought you back to like 3:00 when we got there, and then 6:00 when we did this, and midnight when this happened. There was so much stuff happening.
It was a long day, but it went by so quickly at the same time. It was weird.
Well, and we thought for sure that we were gonna have breaks in the action where we're like, okay, what kind of content can we fill in here? What can we do here? But there was nothing.
Yeah, we were just kind of busy the whole day.
We were busy the whole day.
We set out like over 100 koozies, and they were gone in like 45 minutes. I don't know.
They were gone before the podcast was over.
Did someone just like take a bunch or what?
I don't know. You'd think they would have had to have a big enough bag to do that, and I didn't see anyone with a bag of koozies.
Yeah, so those went pretty quickly. Yeah, it was just like fun, and we didn't really know what to expect. There's people who drove 2 hours to be there, which is super awesome, and we're very grateful for those people.
Right.
Because those are like what keep us going, But yeah,
it was cool to get to talk to couple of the top fans of the page.
Top fan badge, man.
There were a couple of top fans there, and I was kind of busting their balls. I wasn't even calling them by their real name. I was calling them top fans. So of course you had to treat those guys too. A couple of complimentary Busch lattes, and yeah, it was kind of cool. How many people do you think were there for? I would say like 75 to 100.
I would
just
say
for us.
probably like 100, because like even people who were fans of the page, they would bring like 3 or 4 of their buddies, even if their buddies didn't even know what the page was or whatever. So
well, if you think about 100 people in a bar, plus bachelorette parties, bachelor parties,
people there to see the band,
regulars on Saturday night, the band hardos, the place was packed.
Yeah, it was pretty packed. That's the environment that I love.
You
thrive in the chaotic environment of a bar. So that was fun. Like I said, we'll get some headphones for the podcast. We got to talk about that headphone fiasco.
Yeah,
so on the last podcast, we're basically yelling for like 45 minutes. But that's because we literally could not hear each other. It was literally like Ryan would be talking and like almost yelling, and I just still would have to be reading his lips to know what he's saying.
Yeah, so I started my original intro. Welcome back to the You Betcha. I started that, and I looked away for a quick second, and I just started yelling. You gotta look at me, Ryan. You gotta look at me, man. I have to be able to read your lips here, because it was live band, people talking,
Yeah,
It was
just normal
at
bar
3 o'clock
stuff.
in the afternoon.
Yeah. That was super fun. I'm so glad we did it. I'm excited for the rest of them. We're just getting this baby rolling.
Yeah.
I think that was the first one, Ryan.
Yeah,
What happens
like I
if-
said, it went too well.
What happens? What is a bar takeover going to look like if we keep this thing rolling in the next year or two?
Oh,
You know, like
we're going to have to get a hell of a venue.
we're gonna have to get a hell of a team because there was 3 of us setting this baby up, and it was manageable, but at the same time, it would have been nice to have some more hands. That's not an invite for you to send your resume to us. I know someone's gonna do that, but
Yeah.
that part was cool. But yeah, it's crazy. We did that 2 weekends ago. Had 1 weekend off, and now I'm going to St. Louis, Ryan.
Dang.
So we're shooting this on a Monday. I leave at like 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. This will probably come out on Thursday or so, and I will have finished the tour. So it's gonna be cool at the end of this podcast. You're gonna basically like get the whole week in one podcast because it's before I go here, and then while I'm there interviewing some guys, and then after my thoughts afterwards. So, yeah, this is crazy. This is happening. That literally 10 months ago we started this page, and I didn't set out for it to be like die hard Busch Light. I wanted to be a part of the page, and it just took over.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously you run with what's working. It just works out that I love Busch Light. Other people love Busch Light, and that's what it became.
You shot the video with Jerry, the
video with
the air quotes Busch,
Jerry.
air quotes Jerry.
And then we started talking to Anheuser-Busch after that, and they invited me down, and they're taking us to a Cardinal Philly game.
Bryce Harper's been slumping.
Yeah, I'll probably get him out of that. And then we're gonna tour the brewery. We're gonna talk to the Brewmaster. We're gonna talk to other people at Anheuser-Busch. I'm gonna try and get to Twisted Ranch.
Ooh.
Which is like a famous place for ranch in St. Louis. People have been messaging me out it since I started the
Dang.
Ranch Wrangler. They got like 20 some kinds of ranch, so it's gonna be a pretty off the wall Ranch Wrangler.
Are you gonna get like a ranch flight where you get like?
Well, I feel like I should just try them all.
Yeah.
I do like a suicide where I just go down the line and dip them all.
Yep.
But yeah, it's gonna be fun, and I also at the same time don't really know everything that we're gonna do, so it's gonna be cool to like get there and see what else we're gonna do. We'll meet some more people, and yeah, so
Yeah, I think it was a long time coming. So you're going to St. Louis, Missouri. You're going to the Busch factory. What do you? And you said you didn't really know a whole lot about what's going on, but what are you most excited about for when you get there?
weirdly enough, I'm most excited to just sit down with like their marketing team and just like shoot the shit on like just marketing techniques. Yep. But secondly, it's like it's not like I've toured breweries before. I've seen them, and obviously I've never seen one at this scale. But it's gonna be cool to like talk to the guy who's running the show.
Yeah.
And then it's also just gonna be like cool to like, I don't know, you're just like there, you like finally got it, and then like that chapter is closed.
Yep.
And we can move on to the next thing, which I think the next thing, Ryan, is getting 100K followers on Facebook.
Yeah.
Which would be pretty cool to do before a 1 year anniversary.
That'd be insane.
That would be crazy. So I think after, I just think it's like a closing of like the first chapter of like, all right, one goal met. Let's just keep rolling. And, and so I think that's going to be fun. And yeah, so up next, I think we have our interview. I say I think because like I said, I don't know how all this is going to go, but Brewmaster Travis is agreed to an interview, and so this is the interview with Travis. Before we get into our interview with Travis, I want to talk to you guys about Gina's Design of the Heartland. They make handmade wooden signs, and we partnered with them. They came up with an awesome Nectar of the Gods design for your sign to hang in your man cave in your, I would put it in my living room above the mantle, but this sign is a handcrafted straight out of America's heartland. It's perfectly painted on top with the best quality pine wood readily available. Grab yourself some of this fine decor to hang at your shop. Like I said, man cave, or even in the kitchen where I probably would put it. And they claim it's going to bring out your inner Joanna Gaines or Chip Gaines. So we have them on our website, so you can go check them out at oubetcha.com. Buy yourself a Gina's Designs of the Heartland wooden sign that says Nectar of the Gods with our logo on it. They've been a great partner. They've been awesome to work with. We'll ship it to you. And, while you're there, grab a shirt. It's all in one spot. Again, Gina's Design of the Heartland. You can find them on Facebook. And I believe they got like a bunch of 5 out of 5 stars, Ryan. So, again, Gina's Designs of the Heartland. All right, guys, we are here at the, would you call it the Anheuser-Busch campus? Or what would you call it?
This is the St. Louis Brewery.
St. Louis Brewery.
Yeah.
I'm here with Travis. You are the senior brewmaster?
That's right. Senior brewmaster.
So we're here with Travis, senior brewmaster. We're going to start this off the only way we know how, with a nice big Busch call is what we do. I mean, it's harder with one hand.
You ready?
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Busch.
Oh my God, that's cold.
Super cold.
Now that was fresh, but I will have to say it wasn't quite as fresh as when we took it right out of the tank earlier today.
That's right. So part of our tour, we went up to our filter beer tank, and we make Busch Light. We make a lot of Busch Light every day, but I wanted to make sure Miles had the freshest, the best, nectar of the gods that he could possibly get. So we went up to the tank. We took a little sample right out of the tank. How was it?
It was very, very, very fresh. Freshest in the world, to be specific. And it was cold. What you said, 37 degrees, because that's the correct temperature to keep your beer at, which I didn't know.
Yeah, it's got to be cold. There's a couple enemies for beer. Light's obviously an enemy, oxygen's an enemy, and then heat or temperature. So we keep our beer cold the whole time. We filter it cold, we package it cold, and we drink it cold.
Nice. Yes. So before I get into some questions that I have for you, I like to call them normal people questions.
Okay.
So that people at home are always wondering. But tell the people a little bit about your story, how you ended up in the best job in the entire world. Sure.
I've always had a love for beer. I did go to school and got a food science degree, so there is some basic knowledge that you have to be a brewmaster. You got to understand how all this stuff works.
No, I do tell people I'm a scientist because I was an exercise scientist.
That's right.
But I think we're a little bit different scientists.
Like lifting weights and that kind of stuff?
Yeah. As you can see, I lift a lot of weights.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was seems like a lifetime ago.
Right.
But definitely a different scientist.
Well, science is science. So we're in brewing beer.
That's what I told myself too. I don't know if it's true, but
science is science, man. So, being a beer scientist, you got to know a lot about, microbiology, chemistry, but at the same time, brewing beer is an art. So you really have to find the balance between art and science.
I like that.
And that's really what you do as a brewmaster. So we do take all the science, and we balance that out with art and the love for what we do. So we really put a lot of passion into the beers that we make, and we want them to be the best every single time.
Well, and I see that today. I see like the passion everyone has for it.
Yeah.
So how long ago did you come to St. Louis?
So I've been here in St. Louis as the brewmaster for about 3 years, a little over 3 years. And before that, I worked at we have another brewery down in Georgia. I'm originally from Atlanta, and I worked down there for 8 years before I came up here. But, this is kind of like the mothership, St. Louis Brewery is where it all started. So it's kind of cool to get to be here and be the brewmaster and, brew these awesome brands. Yeah,
I mean, you can just like feel the tradition and feel the history, and that this is the mothership when you show up right from the get-go. Right. There'll be a video coming out where we kind of talk about the different taste testing and the kind of the tour of the brewery.
Sure.
But kind of get into the normal person questions that I like to ask people is, like, when you guys are going to do a new brew, where do you guys even start with that? You know, we talked a little bit, like, starts with some marketing, some what beer should it be, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Where do you guys start if you're going to come up with a new beer?
So I think there's a couple different avenues we take. You know, we really want to try to find, like, what are new trends in culture, like what are people liking, what are new flavors that people might want, and so there's a lot of trial and error in coming up with new products. So we have a whole team of folks who are on our innovations team that are trying new things, and so we kind of take the approach of, let's try a lot of things and try to see what could potentially hit. And we're very regional about it, very local. And when we find something that is successful at a really small level, then we're really good at taking that nationwide really quickly. So that's something that's important to us, is making sure that we can do it quickly and we can do it repetitively and we can be good at it. So a lot goes into it,
and it has to taste good, right?
And it has to taste good. Yeah, people have to like it, because
people have to want to drink it.
Exactly, and that's the biggest thing, is with creating new products, new brands, new beers, you want to figure out what people want and then make that for them, not make something and convince them they want it.
Right.
And so,
exactly.
And so, like, that's the whole purpose behind it, is doing that beforehand research, figuring out what people want, what's going to be cool, what's going to be the next trend, and trying to get ahead of the curve on that.
Right. Exactly. So to set the stage for the people who are listening, we are in, it's called the Star Shop, correct?
That's correct.
This is kind of your guys' little playground, right? You can come in here and you'll do a small batch, try out different stuff. The audio visual is that it feels a little bit like a shop. I mean, it's appropriately named. We have behind us, explain to me the significance of the star and all that on the taps.
So the Star Shop is it's kind of a hidden gem here at the St. Louis Brewery. It's almost kind of a speakeasy feel. We have a small batch brewing system that we kind of play around on. We learn about ingredients. We teach people how to brew. And we also have fun. So we like to taste the beers that we brew. That's the best part, when you make something that you like, you know. So we have this awesome draft system here behind us where we have a bunch of different taps. Today we had the Nectar of the Gods on. We wanted to do a tap takeover for you.
A Busch Light tap takeover. I honestly don't know if I've ever heard of that before. So this is my first Busch Light, Busch Latte, Nectar of the Gods tap takeover. Awesome. So that was pretty cool. What were you saying about the star that's up there?
Yeah, so the star, it kind of signifies the Star Shop, but here in St. Louis, the neighborhood that the brewery is located in is called Soulard. And a lot of the old buildings, it's a really historic neighborhood. It's over 100 years old, and the old buildings have those stars on them, which are just part of the architecture that helps hold the building together. And so we really wanted to tie into that local feel, and so we adapted that into our logo of the Star Shop. And so that's what you can see there. That's the same star that each of the buildings in the Soulard neighborhood will have on the side of it. So this is really it's a fun local spot to hang out, and it's kind of small. It's really fun place for us to learn how to brew beer and just play around.
Yeah, like I kind of want to stay here and keep drinking the rest of the day in here. You also have this big Busch sign. You can't really see it on the camera, but it's an old billboard, you said.
Yeah, absolutely. So this, we have a lot of marketing pieces here. We have a museum on site, and when you come on some of our tours, you can come. Obviously, you can come to the St. Louis Brewery and you can take a tour. We have a tour center. We have a lot of different tours. But one of the ones you can go on is our museum tour.
Yep.
And so we have a whole team that takes care of all the artifacts, because we've been around since the 1860s here in St. Louis, and so we have a lot of artifacts that are really important to the brewery and really important to the brands. And this Busch billboard is one of those. So it's original enamel billboard from probably the 50s that was used as an advertising piece back in the day, and we repurposed it in here to be part of the Star Shop, because it just kind of helps set the tone. It fits.
Yeah. And on it says at popular prices, which we were joking that's just, we don't use that language anymore in today's age. Yeah. But speaking of artifacts, we also this is the first time you had seen it too, right?
Yeah.
We have one of the Kevin Harvick Busch cans that is actually made out of his NASCAR can from last year, I believe.
Right.
There's only 40 of these made in the entire world. We have one here today. I thought that was pretty cool. It just goes to show that like the beer brands will do some crazy stuff for cool stuff. Yeah, I mean, like you hadn't seen anything like this done with a can that you've brewed before.
Yeah,
have you?
it's really great. You know, and NASCAR fans are really intense. You know, they love their drivers. They love racing. They like going fast, and you know they love their beer too. And so that's why we always like to partner with somebody like Kevin Harvick, and the Busch team helps partner with him, and we do a lot. And so this is a really awesome can because it's actually cut off of the door of his race car.
Yeah.
And we made a can out of it, and we put Busch in it.
Yeah, and earlier we had to like put gloves on to pick it up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like that thing is hefty. That thing is like it is built to last.
Yeah, it's definitely no joke. He signed it too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Kevin Harvick signed it.
Yeah, so another question that I have for you is, and this one you may be like, oh man, but what is like, have you ever had a beer that you brewed, not even necessarily here, just in your life that you like, you did it and you're like, this is going to be a good beer, and then you taste it and you're like, that is just not going to work. That does not taste good.
Well, so I would tell you that where we are here in the Star Shop, this little brewery, it's all about experimentation and trying new things. And we definitely play around with flavors. We play around with different ingredients, and there's times where maybe we put a little too much of this or a little too much of that. But that's the cool part about it being small scale, is that that's what that's for. And so we just kind of move on to the next one and say, well, we won't do that again. But we really are, into brewing our beer, so we're always trying new things and pushing limits, pushing boundaries. And sometimes when you're doing that and you're kind of living on the edge, you might go too far, and you might make something that you don't necessarily like or isn't good.
Yeah.
So every beer can't be great when you're playing around, experimenting at that small batch kind of level.
What's been the most ridiculous concoction in a beer you've put together, do you think?
Some of the ones that come to mind at first are, it's kind of a trend now, at least it seems, where people are trying to take like really hot peppers like jalapenos or habaneros and put them into the beer, and they get to the point to where, it smells kind of peppery. Maybe we'll put some strawberries in it and make it sweet, but when you drink it, it's so hot you can hardly even taste it.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like a hot wing, right? It hurts your mouth, but you kind of always go back for the second bite.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, you just keep eating them or keep drinking it. Yeah. So putting jalapenos and stuff like
jalapeno, strawberry, wheat is a beer we've made in here. It was pretty good, but it kind of hurt at the same time.
That's when I do my "oh my god, that's cold" face. People think it hurts, but I'm like, no, that is a good face. I promise you that. And I do like this whole experience that we had today. We went on the tour of everything and saw the Clydesdales and all that stuff. This is just like another day at the office for you.
That's right.
That's wild. That is wild to me. I don't know. It's
really cool. I tell people, being a brewmaster is an awesome job. Not just getting to brew beer every day, but being to be a part of the St. Louis brewery where it all started, over 140 years ago, and coming in every day and seeing, the amazing brew house, being around the Clydesdales, being around all the people that love.
Do you ever on your lunch break just like go pet them?
I have before, yeah.
That was wild.
They love being pet.
On my lunch break, I gotta go deal with my neighbor next door, and they're being too loud, and I got water coming underneath the wall, and you're on your lunch break, you're going and petting famous Clydesdale horse. So
that's right.
That is absolutely wild. Now, it wouldn't be correct if we went this whole podcast I didn't bring up the fact that you are a top fan on You Betcha's page.
That's right.
I was looking through some of the top fans before I got here, and I was like, no way. Travis is actually a top fan. So when did you start following the page?
I started following, I think, when I first saw the video you did where you compared Spotted Cow to Busch Light. And I thought, man.
Have you ever had Spotted Cow?
I have, yeah. And
what do you think of it?
I agree that Busch Light's a way better beer.
There we go. We heard it here, right
official.
Here. From like a real expert. I'm a fake expert. He's a real expert.
But I think that's really what kind of drew me in. I mean, Busch Light's a brand that's been around for a really long time. It's a beer that, we've been brewing since 1989. And there's a lot of people that love Busch Light. and we brew a lot of it here in St. Louis. I mean, most of the
I hope you're having to brew more.
We are having to brew more.
Yes.
And you know, we're happy to do it. We love making brands that people enjoy and can connect with. And so seeing something like, you know, what you've done that's really organic and has a lot of people getting behind it and growing, it's something that was exciting to me. So I was like, why not be a top fan?
I'm Trav. I love it. Anything that, like, obviously there's a lot of things that you cannot share with us about future stuff, but what, you know, talk about a little bit. It's not Busch Light stuff, but I definitely did the review between Natter Days and Busch Light. What, you know, talk about like the response to that beer, because that was like from the can to the, you know, the flavor, the whole thing was kind of, it was different. It wasn't exactly like the classic, you know, like even just like the Bud Light Orange is like, even though it is a flavor, it doesn't necessarily, it still goes within that Bud Light brand, where Natter Days, I mean, there's pink flamingos in the can.
Yeah, it's definitely different, right? It
yeah,
so stands out.
Talk about like the process of getting that beer to production and out.
Well, I think, you know, it just like with any new innovation that we're scaling up that's never hit the market before, you know, we're not really sure how well it's going to do. There's always a little bit of that. Well, we want it to do well, but we're not sure. And with Natter Days, it was a huge hit, you know, right away. We really connected with the consumer, and there was definitely a demand for that beer in the market, that flavor, the strawberry lemonade flavor.
Yep.
And the drinkability of it is huge. You know, as we get into the warmer months, spring break, we get into the summer, you know, you're sitting by a pool, maybe in, you know, Palm Springs, California.
Yep.
It's a great beer, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, in terms of like, yeah, if you're looking for something that is, you know, a little more fruity, it's definitely a go-to for it. Obviously, it's not going to beat the Busch Light, but
true.
So, what did you think about my statement where I said that it tasted like a fruit by the foot, dipped in Busch Light? What do you think about that statement?
I mean, I think, you know, you've been through some taste training today, so you know,
Also,
you definitely are getting better at tasting beer. But I think you're spot on. I mean, it's a fruity flavored beer. That's what it's
you
supposed
heard it
to
here.
be.
Don't stop there. You heard it here. I was spot on by saying it was fruit by the foot, dipped in Busch Light.
Yeah.
No, the taste testing was pretty cool. Are you more confident in my reviews coming forward of like I'll be able to use more bigger vernacular and bigger words and smells and aromas?
I think so. I mean, because you've learned about the ingredients of beer, you've learned about the brewing process. We talked through how to taste a beer, you know, and I think, you know, learning how to taste beer is like learning a foreign language, right? Anybody can smell an aroma, anybody can taste an aroma, but being able to be repetitive and pick that out each time,
Yep.
and then tying it back to the brewing process and being able to say, hey, if I adjust this or tweak this a little bit, I can improve that flavor,
Yep.
I can improve that aroma. That's really the expert level. So I'm gonna have to bring you back a few times to like really teach you that part.
I thought I was like ready to go. Like I'm ready to leave the nest now. I got my crash course and I'm like ready to just start going to like beer festivals and being a judge and handing out medals. I felt like I was after today, but I guess I got to come back.
It takes a lot of years of experience and training to really be
I believe
a qualified taster. But I think that, you know, your tasting of the fresh Busch Light out of the filter beer tank. I mean, that's one of the tastes we do every day for every tank, every
Not
batch
to brag.
we do. So
Not to brag. You taste fresh Busch Light out of it. Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, the right out of the tank. There was how many 822,000 Busch Light cans in that one tank.
Yep.
And then I told you it was that would probably last me about a month. But yeah, man, it's you're kind of a professional taster if you really think about it too.
Sure.
Along with the brewer. I guess this is your platform here as we close this down. As the brewmaster here at AB, what would you say to the You Betcha fans about Busch Light? So
I just say that, you know, we really appreciate everybody who enjoys the beer. You know, we put a lot of love and care into brewing this beer. We treat it just like any brand that we make here, and every beer is important. You know, we start with the highest quality ingredients. We don't take shortcuts. Every single batch gets tasted every single day of every single beer that we brew. including every single Busch Light, and we take it really seriously. And we do that because we want you to have a good experience when you're consuming our beer. When you go buy a Busch Light from the store, no matter where it is, no matter what part of the country, it's going to taste the same because we've ensured that we've used the same ingredients. We've used the same process. We've tasted it. Somebody, a brewmaster has tasted that beer every step of the way. And, it means a lot to us for people to enjoy our product because we put a lot of time, we put a lot of energy and a lot of effort into brewing these beers because we want you to enjoy them. And so that's what it's all about.
Oh, and trust me, we all enjoy Busch Lights.
Yeah.
So I think you guys are doing a very good job. Like I said, you guys have been awesome. Welcome us in, giving us access to stuff, even the stuff that we couldn't film.
Right?
Yeah. But I appreciate it. You coming by. You got yourself a YB koozie.
That's
I'm
it.
glad we could get you that. Thanks for coming on the podcast, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming to St. Louis, Miles. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Oh my God, that's cold.
It's so cold.
All right, guys, that was our interview with Travis Moore, Senior Brewmaster at Anheuser-Busch. I tell you what, I just got back from the trip to St. Louis, and I'm still processing everything we did, everything that happened. It was an absolutely insane 3 days, jam-packed full of going to see the actual offices where everyone works, to the Anheuser-Busch suite at the Cardinals game, to getting an exclusive tour of the brew house, doing a little taste testing with Travis, and then just hanging out before we leave, drinking some beers, talking everything social media with the team that does it at Busch. So it just was a really, really cool 3 days, and I'm glad that we did it. It was a long 3 days. We left at 5 a.m. on Tuesday morning and got back at like 11:30 on Thursday night. So it was busy, but I can't speak enough about how good a guy Travis was and everyone that basically allowed us to come and let us into their world. So hopefully in the future we can keep working together and build a good partnership with them. So I'm here in the studio by myself, and Ryan, obviously he is working, but I just wanted to close out the podcast. I wasn't able to with Ryan before, and so our sponsors allow this to happen. So U Motors, Motorsports and Marine in Fargo, North Dakota, and Pelican Lake, Minnesota, they have been awesome to work with. They have helped us out every which way they can. And then also our bar takeover next weekend is in it's in Joyce, Iowa at Country View Acres. They're a wedding venue, but they're also just an event center, and they have a lot of cool stuff to offer. And so we thank them for having us down next weekend. We'll be shooting our podcast live from there. And then afterward, the podcast will get posted next week. 2 weeks from now, I suppose. But yeah, it'll be 2 weeks from now. And lastly, Gina's Designs of the Heartland. They have created some really cool Nectar of the God signs. You got to check them out on our website, oubetcha.com. We started selling them. They're a great gift for, man cave or someone where you watch sports games, that kind of stuff. And so you have to check them out on our website, and you can find them on Facebook as well. They have a lot of other cool stuff that they sell, but they made the specific Nectar of the God signs for us. And so that's really awesome of them. And again, those sponsors really allow us to do what we do and have the opportunity to, allow us to create content so that we can get the opportunities like going to St. Louis and seeing the Anheuser-Busch brewery. I'm like itching and scratching to get this content out because I think it's going to be really cool, and really I think a look that not a lot of other people get to see, including like the taste testing and going through all of that. And so a lot of cool content coming next week. Just trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, we have new shirts. We have hats on the website. They're all for sale right now. They're only going to be on sale for probably another week and a half. And so get it while you can, and then it'll probably be a little bit before you can get some of the gear again, especially the hats. So you'll have to go check that out at oubetcha.com. Make sure you're following us on all of our social medias, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at oubetcha, at OHH, Bush burp, you betcha. And make sure you go follow Ryan the T-shirt guy. He's not here, but he's a funny guy to follow because he gets to see the other side of what we're doing here at You Betcha. And so go check him out at Ryan the T-shirt guy on Instagram and Facebook. Tell you what, guys, this week was a big step in the direction of where we want to go for You Betcha and where we want this ship to end up someday. And so I appreciate everyone who's helped get us there, all the way back to when I did the video where I said we got to get to St. Louis. Well, we did it. We got to St. Louis. And now I think we're on to the next thing. And part of that is 100K on Facebook. We are at a little over 80,000 on Facebook. We got our 1-year anniversary coming up. Let's try and get to 100K before. And so tell your friends to go follow us on Facebook. Share it. We everything that you guys do, allow us to do what we do. And so not to get too long-winded on all this, but I hope that your ranch may always be runny and your bush lattes forever be cold. Cheers to the listeners and Ryan, who's somewhere else. Oh my God, that's cold.
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Yeah.